Greetings, my fellow board game enthusiasts, and welcome to part 6.1 of the Aeon's End lore series. First off, I'd like to give my thanks to all of you who voted on which campaign to follow in my previous debate video. The results were actually pretty close, but in the end Aeon won out by taking 56% of the votes at the time of writing. So as decided by the voice of the people, on Aeon's side we will start. In another video that is, for first we have a juicy appetizer of pre-campaign lore to devour here. As you might recall in the previous entry into the series, we had followed the journey of Jana and Zaxos trying to find the Fountain of Souls. Now while that was all happening off in the lands of the Void, the citizens of New Gravehold weren't merely standing around and twiddling their thumbs. As the story has clearly proven by this point, this is a living and breathing world, where actions have long-lasting consequences, and each mage is driven by their own set of goals and convictions. To start with, Jana's assault on the southern outpost with the Necroswarm had compelled Talix and his son Inko to move back to their original home so they could help rebuild and defend the half-destroyed settlement. And Jana's action didn't only have a physical impact, it had some psychological ones too. Mazra, who had devoted her entire life to her studies in order to become a member of the council whom she greatly admired, was shocked to her core to discover one of its members was nearly responsible for the death of her beloved sister, Razra. As such, per Brahma's suggestion, she decided it was best to take a break from her studies and get some real-world experience. She would leave New Gravehold and take up the position to manage the newly established northern outpost together with Soskul, who had lots of experience with traversing the northern region. Quick side note, while it gets hinted at here and there, a small entry on section 39 of the campaign confirms that Soskul and Talix are a married couple. And while I'm on relationships, Kadir and Malistar are also confirmed to be married, Inko and Razra are currently dating each other, and lastly Chu and Takran appear to be in love, though it's not clear if they have confessed their feelings to each other yet. And for those of you who are looking for even more romance drama in this dark fantasy, there is one more tale to tell, which also conveniently ties into the Necroswarm aftermath. So Razra, with her leap before you look disposition, immediately set off on a journey to the south to find the traitorous mage, aka Jana, who had once captured and nearly killed her. While it took her a month or two, she eventually also came upon the village of Azer, though Jana had already left on her journey into the void at that point. Regardless, Razra was thrilled at the discovery and decided to learn all she could about Azerian culture. She even became best friends with one of the local mages, Reth. Now for those of you who don't remember, Reth used to be Inko's tether, and thus childhood friend, who even now still carries the fossilized rose he gave her. However, I don't believe Razra has told Reth of her relationship with Inko yet. This sets up the perfect situation for a classic love triangle. I almost wish I could be there when this teen drama reaches its inevitable climax. And finally, to end off this section, I found a nice tidbit of Azerian culture I quickly wanted to mention. On Kel and Ilia's shared starter card, Entangled Tourmaline, it is revealed that when two Azerians enter into a relationship, they have the tradition of exchanging gemstones, kind of like how we have the exchanging of rings in some marriage ceremonies. Okay, on to some other mages. We have both Nook, the once scientist mage who lost his sense of time, and Lost, the once weaponsmith mage who lost pretty much everything else. These two mages joined Jagar and Claudia as new members of the old Gravehold Ruins exploration team, searching the submerged structures for any relics and knowledge they could still recover. And for those of you who are wondering, despite being made of flame, Lost is completely fine underwater. It's not like his flame is originating from a physical material which can be smothered. Anyways, Nook mainly joined as being surrounded by solid rock and stone helped ground him in the present, a recovery method which has evidently worked well seeing as he is currently able to control 3 stable breaches whereas previously he could only open 1. Likewise Lost also joined for personal reasons. He sought to return to the place he once called home and confront his past. A goal which he managed to achieve when Jagar helped him locate the old blacksmith's forge, with the very bones of Adelheim still resting inside. Now this has some very nice tie-ins with the previously established lore. We already know from the Fountain of Souls campaign that the people of Aeon's End are comprised of ether. Secondly, thanks to a unique invention card of Malestar, the Cosmic Locus, we now also know that there is a principle for the conservation of ether in this world. Assuming it's similar to the law of conservation of energy, it means that ether can neither be created nor destroyed, it can merely be transformed. To simplify, this means mages do not die when they are killed, their souls travel on, either being drawn into the void, dissipating into the world, or as happened in the case of Lost and Remnant, latching onto a new body of sorts. On a final note from the exploration team's lore, it is stated that they also managed to rescue a couple of mages who were still trapped in the underground tunnels. Perhaps it could even be some mages we know. Only time will tell. Moving on, we get a brief mention that Sahala, the fourth member of the original rescue team, is currently living peacefully in New Gravehold. And that means we now have the current whereabouts and happenings of every New Age mage. Well, everyone except Rhea, I guess, but she never had any lore tying her to anyone or anything else anyways, so I don't really care too much. No lore, no screen time. That brings us to the old mages from Wave 1 and 2. First and most obvious, we have Brahma, who is still head of the Council of Elders, despite her ever-increasing age, I might add. Next there is Malestar and Kadir, living happily as an inventor and teacher in New Gravehold. Then we also have another confirmed resident, Indira, who is now all grown up. And with Indira comes plenty of much sought-after lore. To start with, Yin Magda did indeed survive the fall and make it to the surface. At this point I need to issue my very first correction. Back in video 3.5 I speculated that Indira and Yin were living in the southern outpost, but it turns out that both actually resided in New Gravehold. Until Brahma exiled Yin Magda to some lonely shack in the eastern wilds, that is, just as she had banished Arachnos and many others for performing forbidden magic. On the bright side, we also learn that Geru is still alive. That's one more nice green mark on our sheet of missing mages. Though of course Geru suffered the exact same fate as Yin Magda. I'm starting to lose count just how many mages Brahma has exiled over the years. All these banishments also lead to Indira developing a sense of self-loathing, for she had been so desperate to fit in that she failed to speak up in protest of Brahma's decision, fearing that she too would be banished alongside her mentor and companion. Last but not least, as part of Soskull's lore, we also get a brief mention of Mist for the first time since the Legacy campaign. It appears that directly following the events of the Fall and Zaxos' corruption, she had been trying to help Soskull achieve his goal of becoming a breach mage despite his lack of aptitude, though these efforts would only yield results after Soskull had been captured by Arachnos and got exposed directly to void energy. Yet apparently Mist has since disappeared. It is unclear whether she is still alive or not, but either way the short entry bodes rather ill. Bonus lore drop time. Our favorite lore puzzle mage, Nook, has once again presented us with some out-of-order gibberish to solve, though this time the text can be found on each of his 5 unique starter cards. Once put together, it appears to describe a foreboding nightmare. I have never forgotten the way the air tasted, like a stolen breath while plummeting to my death. I still wake up in the middle of the night remembering that I saw something in the void when experimenting with it. There was a feeling that the very dimension itself was looking back through my breaches and seeing me, and trying to draw me further into it. It certainly is an eerie passage, but wouldn't you know it, Yin Magda's card, the Eldritch Eye, also mentions the exact same thing, that the void is looking back at the mages. Could this be foreshadowing the existence of some super-dimensional void Nameless? Rest assured all will be revealed in a future video.